losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning indeed. Yes, yes, yes. Today, we're going to be talking about how Wokehammer over on X/Twitter is losing their mind. And it is glorious. The gatekeeping of our proud brothers at Shudhammer and the Legion of Unpopular Opinions is doing quite well. So, let's go over some interesting tweets that have been happening just this morning. It should hopefully be a short video, but you guys know what happens when I say that. The opposite ends up being true. So, let's get right into it. First off, let's start off with some positivity from mine own self. It's a brave thing, I think, sometimes, to share one's miniatures online. Now, this is not just a pat on the back to me, this is a pat on the back to anyone who does it. You should not be afraid or worried about sharing your miniatures online. You should not be constantly walking on eggshells, afraid you're about to get ridiculed for not being up to standard, or not having quality, as some would call it. No, at the end of the day, painting is a personal form of expression in the hobby. It's an entirely learning process from the time you start doing it to the time you finish doing it. You never stop learning new things. You never stop doing new approaches. You will constantly be evolving your approach. And that's the beauty of it as part of the hobby. It is only ever engaging, and the best part, at least for years and years in the past, is no matter how low quality, quote-unquote, yours might be, someone would always be there to go, hey, it looks pretty good, you got a solid start, but here, maybe try this, or hey, maybe try that. And that would always be a healthy form of hobby engagement. It made things more social, made things more fun. Now, of course, again, let's get the positive out of the way. I'm going to praise myself. I think I did pretty good on my Mauler Fiend. He's actually right there, waiting to be varnished. So yes, this being said, we're going to jump over here. I got like some final, like these first few tabs or something else. We'll get to that at the end. So, some people have been sharing their miniatures. Like I just said, it's a very brave thing to do, and you should, we should as a community, and have always as a community, tended to be very positive when people shared their stuff. We would take a look at it, we would look at its positives, we would praise those positives, but we would also take a moment to say, hey, maybe try this next time. Or, hey, maybe try this as it currently is. Maybe approach it a different way. There was always a approach that we would suggest, and that was the most criticism that tended to get levied. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to dissuade someone from posting their stuff and looking for aid and looking for help and looking for advice and healthy criticism. Wokehammer did not get that memo because this individual, Dumpy Grimbo, shared their, in my opinion, decent approach at what appears to be a Horus Heresy Iron Warriors. The there's pretty clean paint job for the most part. It's got solid coloration and patterns. Generally, this is a very, very good start. Is it perfect? No, but mine aren't perfect. Nobody's is perfect. I'm not even in the top like 10% of painters, and I can tell you this. This is a solid start. Dumpy Grimbo, if you see this video, you are only going up, my friend. This is a solid miniature, and I actually really like it. If I played an army of a whole Horus Heresy Iron Warriors army that were painted to this level, I would be ecstatic. Like, I would be in the zone and ready to play. This is actually quite good work, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But someone did attempt to say and act like it was subpar and beneath them. This individual is Lancer_20XX. Also known as at Nightmare of Soul. They are certainly a nightmare. That is without question. Now, this individual, this is only one example of it, but they've been going around to a lot of what they deem like their enemies' miniature posts. And keep in mind, on Wokehammer, for those who are not familiar with the X40K community, the Wokehammer crowd tend to constantly tell people on the Chudhammer side to show your miniatures to prove that we're fans and hobbyists. And we do, almost every time. It's ironic that it blows up every time they try to pull that card. It's like, oh, show your minis. And then we show pretty much a giant cavalcade of our collections and miniatures. And then they don't respond to that because their hope there was it was going to be a gotcha of some kind. Like, oh, see, they don't have miniatures. They're not real fans. When in fact, we have more than you will ever dream of having. And we put more passion and time into them than you will ever dream of having. That being said, this individual has been going around and to what they have deemed as Chudhammer members. And they are looking for their miniature posts, which they oftentimes ask for. And what do you think that they do? Well, it's pretty obvious on screen. It says, looks like shit, LOL. Now, of course, an individual like this, you would assume, has some kick-ass models. Like, they have got to have some of the highest quality, highest tier work to act so arrogant, so self-assured. Well, this is the individual in question. This is not doxing. They have publicly posted this image. And these are their miniatures. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Ooh. Ooh. Very dirty work. And as much as they might say, well, that was the point. Yeah, those highlight lines. Ooh, like, look at that. Like, that's just a sharp dot almost. Ooh, there's no fade. There's no careful line work. If. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, there's a clear seam line right there on that hat that clearly cracked. I'm pretty sure that's not intentional. Also, why put a helmet over a helmet? That's very quirky looking. Very flawed. Very flawed. Needs work. Needs work. Ooh, ooh, that's not a straight line right there. That's quite rough. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, what's that glow effect? Little too sharp. You might want to water down the paint a bit more, my friend. A little. Oh, ooh, that face. That face. Not very clean work. Not very clean work at all. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, those colors. Eesh. Now that is an ugly model. This is a case of strip and start over, my friend. This is a case of strip and start over. Maybe next time you'll actually make something remotely salvageable. But I always believe in self-improvement. Always. So yeah, at best, their miniatures are of the same quality as the mini showed before. And in realistic stances, it's far worse. So yes, this individual has been going around and shit-talking people, treating them like crap. And of course, the response has been duly appropriate. Wokehammer L's over on X has been shitting down their throat, as is rightfully done. Immediately responded with, you know that they say what they say about stones in glass houses. And they shared this post, thinking it was some kind of gotcha, yet again. Like, yeah, what do they say about people who have never heard of Tamiya 2mm masking tape or use Mark 4, Mark 6 for Iron Warriors? Ooh, hobby elitism. Isn't that something they accuse of Chudhammer of? Isn't that something they accuse us of? Cream of the crop here from Wokehammer. And of course, Wokehammer immediately hit back with, nah, I was wondering if you were looking in the mirror before posting. And you'd have more of an argument if your yellow wasn't chunky. And that is right, he is dead on. That is some chunky yellow. That is a lot of hard layers. A lot of hard layers. Eesh. Not very quality work. Not very quality work indeed. Yep, so plenty of individuals have been pointing out this person's flaws, since they are so eager to do that themselves in a very unconstructive, unfair way, then we've found that we don't need to be constructive or fair back. So, lots of people have been shitting down their throat, rightfully so, and it has been hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Yes, indeed, this is what you get for being a shit human being, which is what Wokehammer espouse. They are shit people. If you ever doubt that, Bystanders, one of their archons that they constantly like to reference like he's their god, calls women birthers who don't agree with him. Yes, this has been entertaining. Now, people like Archimus Luke Emus, also took to Twitter to respond to this individual. And they said, I'm seeing an uptick in this in the Warhammer community, and frankly, it's doing my goddamn head in. People like this push people out of the community, make them self-conscious about their mini painting, and frankly, try to make a community worse. If you've got nothing nice to say at all, you don't say it. You lift up and support hobbyists regardless of who they are. What they identify as, you do not do this. And I would tend to agree. Especially in regards to within the hobby. When someone shares their miniatures, it's a brave thing. And you should not tear them down simply for doing so. But of course, you start throwing stones in glass houses, there's a different story there. But regardless, you do not do this. People spend hours painting and playing with their miniatures and feel pride. Numpties like this come along, try to bully others. Nothing more than bullying. Unless yours are perfect, you don't say anything. Mean. I suppose you meant say meaningful. I always find something's nice to say because that's what Warhammer is about, and I would tend to agree. If someone is sharing their miniatures in earnest, and they haven't done what this individual did and go to others arrogantly attacking them, then my immediate response is to, even if I think the miniature isn't necessarily up to snuff, my immediate instinct is to point out what I do like about it. I don't lie. I don't ever say a miniature looks gorgeous or amazing when I think it doesn't. But that being said, I do always find a positive, because there is always a positive to be found. Whether it's clean line work, whether it's a careful shade, whether it's the application and use of washes, it doesn't matter. There is always something positive to find in someone's work. And you should always point that out, and point it out not just in a blasé way, like oh, yeah, cool thing you did there, and then spend like an essay and a half shitting on it, or looking for all the flaws. No, try and be equal in both your criticism and your compliments, because humans tend to, we tend to lean towards the negatives as it is. So if you have a small compliment and a laundry list of complaints, then people don't tend to even remember that you complimented it. So try to make an equal effort to compliment and an equal effort to criticize. It'll help someone grow, and it'll also help them give them confidence as they can continue their painting journey. So, unless yours are perfect... Okay, sorry, my apologies. People like this will not be missed, and I have to agree. And he shared the Warhammer is for everyone graphic, and in this circumstance, it's fair to use. It's definitely fair to use. Yes, Grandmaster Mir Estelin also responded to this. Post minis. That's what they say constantly. That's what Wokehammer loves to push. Post your minis, post your minis, post your minis, because they're looking for that gotcha. They're looking for that guy who doesn't have the miniatures, who's been commenting about the lore and stuff, and then they hoist that up and say, well, see, he doesn't have miniatures. He's not a real fan. So they say that constantly, and then we post them as they request. And then they act like this. And this is another circumstance where this guy bullied another person. Now, fortunately, the original images are not there, but it wouldn't matter, because what they said to it is, if you're satisfied with your models, I genuinely think you should be pushed out of the hobby. LOL. There's a very wide gap between you and me. A crippled tranny that you should aspire to close. Now, I do believe, I have no doubt about the tranny part. You've made that quite clear with your posts. But the crippled part, I have questions. You seem to be perfectly able-bodied. You're standing just fine. It doesn't look like your arms are in any casts. Your eyes... You're clearly looking at your phone to take this picture, so your eyes are at least functional enough to take selfies. So where are you crippled? I'm questioning this. How are you crippled? If it's in the intelligence department, don't say no more. I don't need any evidence. I have enough. But that being said, of course. So yeah, pushing people out of the hobby because of how they paint their minis. Not very inclusive of you, Wokehammer. Not very inclusive of you at all. There's a very wide gap between you and me. Not really. Again, I haven't seen this person's stuff, but based on the person earlier you respond to and said theirs looked like shit, I don't think there's as much of a gap as you think there is. Your narcissism is showing. That you should aspire to close. I think you should aspire to be half as good as the people you've shat on thus far. And this individual has also gone after Wokehammer L's miniatures and his Red Scorpion army. And this person said, of course, this fucking guy has an embarrassingly ugly Red Scorpion's army. Well, ugly. Well, taking a look, I would have to firmly disagree. Ugly? Not at all. Certainly not perfect, but again, no one is. There's clear effort to do highlight work. There's clear effort to do weathering. There is quite a bit of consistency in the cleanliness of the work. There's across this army, this is consistent in its quality, and it is decent. It is very decent quality. So yeah, I'm not seeing what is ugly about it. It's not exactly showcasing these bright, garish, ugly, contrasting colors, and contrasting in a way that doesn't complement one another, like yours. Kind of ironic. Throwing those stones in that very, very small glass house of yours. Yes, indeed. At least this is consistent, and the tones are not, and the color choices are not offensive to the eye. So definitely higher quality than your work. You should aspire, to use your own terminology, you should aspire to close the gap, Lancer. You should aspire to close the gap and be as good as this someday. I believe in you. I believe in you. If you work hard enough, you might be as good as Wokehammer Els. But yes, that is this individual. This has been going on pretty much all morning. I have no doubt my own posts will receive a, "This looks like shit." I would be happy to receive that badge of honor, since clearly your tastes aren't exactly refined. Not refined at all. But do contact me. Please do. I would love to see what you have to say. But anyway, that's it for Lancer, and of course the community is shitting on them, rightfully so. The rest of it is mostly just some cleanup reporting I'd like to provide. So, Wokehammer Els reported on this. So, Cerberus XT, a known Wokehammer nutjob, who is quite frequent. He's very much a fetishist and a degenerate. He's constantly posted perversions about dommy mommies and stuff like that. That seems to be his main motivation for pushing feminines. Of course, he's also the same type to criticize Chudhammer for sexualizing Sisters of Battle and other things. So, that's the quality of the person we're talking about. Very much a hypocrite. But he posted about this, how someone, Norn Queen Durland, made a joking post, making fun of Hellstorm Mikey, who I have made a video on recently and streamed about his horrible, horrible takes. Yes, that being said, they made an oy vey joke. A very simple joke. I'd barely call it a dark humor. It's a very lowbrow, simple, low-hanging fruit joke. It's, oh no, oy vey, and then a little drawn line for the nose. It's just a little doodle. Like, I would not be surprised to see this in a notebook in the high school. Like, it, oh. But Cerberus tried to make a big deal out of it and said, Wokehammer Els Discord doing some anti-Semitism. This coming from the woke, by the way, the woke, who are the left. And how have they been behaving lately in regards to Israel and Jewish people? That whole Palestine and Hamas situation. Keep in mind, this isn't like from months ago before all that. This is a couple hours ago. Serb, are you not in line with the party message that you're a part of that says Jewish people are evil now? Maybe you should keep up with the news. Anyway, Wokehammer Els Discord anti-Semitism, probably because Hellstorm Mikey and the Peak talked positively about FSM. Well, that's one of many reasons to make fun of him. This is, again, like, very, very, like, watch my video about it. There's so much material to make fun of him. This is barely a dusting on top of the iceberg. And before it's just some rando, and it is, deflection, the weirdo is Durlin123 on Twitter, and all the usual Legion big names follow him. Yes, I don't think I do. I'm going to have to add him to my follow list. I do enjoy the occasional lowbrow joke. And also, Ruler of Humanity, Big E of Man on Twitter is another one of the prideful members of the Wokehammer crowd. And he goes straight up ableism. And it's Raphael saying, my new thing is asking why I can't have white salamanders. If they argue lore, I'll say it's not inclusive. Excuse me, why no Down syndrome Space Marines? Bits needs his representation. That's hilarious, actually. Good job on you, Raphael. That is a great post. But straight up ableism. The left is not able to joke. They can't meme. The left cannot meme. This is such a nothing burger of a comment. This is about, if this is the worst y'all can cook up from the Discords, you guys are slipping. You guys are slipping. This is very, very basic. And he's entirely right. His new thing is asking, why can't he have white salamanders? Keep in mind, if you post that you have, like, Caucasian-looking salamanders, you will have Wokehammer jump in your replies, much like Lancer jumps in people's replies, acting like an asshole. Yeah, you'll get these types of individuals jump in who are just as white as this, saying how racist it is to whitewash the salamanders. You will indeed get that. But if they argue lore, which is what they would do, I'll say it's not inclusive. Excuse me, why no Down syndrome Space Marines? Bits needs his representation. Yeah, it's just very funny and is accurate, which is why they posted about it like it was some sin. A sin against them. How dare you make fun of Wokehammer? How you make fun of them simply by breathing. These folks have no sense of humor. So Wokehammer L says, today we have anger over jokes. Also, no, I will not police speech. I agree. You do not police speech. Say whatever you want. I can disagree with it. I can make fun of you for saying it, and I will. No, I will use my freedom of speech to mock your freedom of speech all day long. But I will not suppress your freedom of speech. Go ham. Have fun. But, no, I will not police speech. I find the idea of it offensive. If you're going to have a cry over someone saying mean things, then that's a you problem. And it is indeed. Offense is taken, my friends. It is not given. So if you choose to take offense, that was a choice by yourself. It was not a choice by another. A problem, and you rage-baiting cry bullies. Exactly. Well done, Wokehammer. Well done. Good reporting. And of course, I also have been dealing with the woke over there. We'll end off on this one. I've been going for a while. So, I've been dealing with this individual, Dark Forest Press, who has cowardly blocked me on Twitter. Now, this individual originally commented on another one of my posts about the Wargamer article. This individual initially, and unfortunately I can't pull it up because they do have me blocked, so I can simply show the post though. So initially, I posted on this, on January 13th, and they responded to it because they tried to latch onto the part where I said, they've reiterated this point numerous times through official media such as codexes and rulebooks, and this is in regards to GW reiterating in their literary works, and in particular the game rules, that Space Marines are only male. They've reiterated this numerous times. And of course, they thought they had a gotcha. Dark Forest Press immediately jumped in and said, and again, I can't show it now because they have me blocked. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. They have me blocked. But they essentially said, where in the codexes does it say that? And I shared initially the Age of Darkness box set the Age of Darkness rule book, where it says explicitly that they are men. Now, Dark Forest Press tried to be cheeky and was like, and added Bystanders, because he himself is such a fan that he didn't even know where this was taken from. Dark Forest Press was is such a fan of Warhammer that he had no idea where this was from. So he added Bystanders, asking Big Daddy Bits where it was from. And of course, I mockingly hit him back and teased him and said, you got to go to Big Daddy Bits to recognize where official lore is and where these excerpts are from. Really, you claim to be a fan, and immediately they went, well, I don't collect Horus Heresy. I only play real 40k. He acted like Horus Heresy has no relation to 40k whatsoever. He acted like it was a subsidiary game that no one plays. And he acted like it was less popular than Necromunda. Clearly a fan. So, I hit him with that, and I also pulled out all the stops. I pulled out a video here. Oh, let me scroll down. Yep, here I am. I pulled out my Space Marine Codex.
It is only thanks to the Emperor's skills and knowledge of the Space Marines exist. Only he knew the subtle arts and infinite complex nuances of genecraft It was his vision that led to the creation of the Primarchs and the Gene Sons. Oh my. Gene Sons. Gene Sons. Oh, it's very gendered language.
And that was the Codex Space Marines from 9th edition. Gene hyphen Sons. Yes, of course. And that's where I left it, pretty much. I smacked him down and pointed out it's in the official codexes of the game you're such a fan of. And he tried to make the claim that Gene Sons was gender neutral. It was a group noun, akin to firemen. Oh, there's women firefighters, so firemen includes them, so it's gender neutral, but has the name men in it. Even though the connotation of men is mankind, it's our whole species. It isn't gender specific, whereas Gene Sons is gender specific. Son is specific. Very specific. It's gender specific. And also, we'll get to it. So, yes, I left it at there, satisfied I had crushed him. And then I made another post, making fun of Hellstorm Wargaming, putting his streams in sub-only mode. And he replied cheekily, and this I did take screenshots of, so here's the full context. He replied cheekily, "So about the Codex quote you promised." So, I said, "Your cope is very entertaining." And I shared, yet again, a picture of the exact same excerpt I just read from, that you just heard. And it says quite clearly, and the Gene Sons. I said 2 images, just in case his eyes weren't quite up to snuff. Gene hyphen Sons. Yes, very, very gender specific. And he went, "Yeah, we already talked about how it doesn't say what you think it says. But we're done. You didn't do the cringe video this time." And I said, "Talked? You refuse to accept certifiable black and white text that says you're wrong. Keep clowning, my friend, keep clowning." Now, a smart man would have stopped. He's not a smart man. Gendered group nouns are not a certain indicator of the sex of members of said group. And yet again, he used the same example he used previously. There have been firemen who were women, for instance. There is no hyphen in fireman. And also the connotation of men in this case is mankind. It is not gender related at all. It's species related. There is in Gene hyphen Sons. It's there for specificity of gender, not as a group noun. Your intellectual dishonesty doesn't change the black and white text that says you're wrong. Cope. And I even went so far as to share the definition of what a hyphen is used for in English text. Hyphens are used to connect words in a way that makes the meaning of the combined descriptor clear. The whole purpose of the hyphen is literally to go, this, emphasis, this. Or this emphasizes this. For instance, rock-hard cake is a compound modifier that describes the texture of the cake. The hyphen between rock and hard makes it clear that the cake is hard like a rock. See how that works? So what do you think Gene hyphen Sons means? It's to emphasize heavily that the genetics of this individual is that of a son, a male offspring. Male. La, 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 la. Tell me what woman is referred to as a son. 0. So yes, it was a very straightforward smackdown I applied. I used basic English literacy, and anyone who speaks this language should understand the usage of hyphens, especially if you write text on the regular basis. So yes, he got smacked down. Smacked down hard. Now, in response to that, I made sure to screenshot both of those because I knew he might try to hide. And he said, "If you ever feel dumb, just know you're not Dark Forest. Press dumb." And I tweeted it out, and people got a kick out of it. And he tried to come in yet again, and he basically tried to pivot the conversation. He refused stalwartly to acknowledge whatsoever. He refused to acknowledge whatsoever anything I shared in these last 2 posts. He basically ignored the existence of this, and then tried to continue to push the group noun. It was pure copium, and it was delicious. Me, once you show that level of intellectual dishonesty and a refusal to engage honestly in the conversation, why should I engage with what you're trying to pivot to? Why should I engage and act like what you're trying to do here is at all appropriate? Admit you lost. So instead, I just decided, until he acknowledges this image, I was purely going to post only this image. So, for quite the number of replies, this is how it looked. And he continued to ignore it the entire time. Kept trying to firm and steelman that pivot, and completely failed. It was very entertaining. So, as a response to it, the man blocked me. The man blocked me firmly. And it was, and is, a badge of honor I now carry. Yes, he blocked me, folks. He went crying back to his friends. Oh, Dark Force Press. I hope you didn't cry. I hope you're feeling okay. Not everyone can take being beaten down and shown to be a complete idiot very well. Not at all. So yes, he blocked me. And you would think that would be the end of it, but no. The individual then attempted to respond to people in my replies. And he also tried to send his little friends to come and dunk on me. So yes, let's see here. Actually, I retweeted it, so let me go up to it. So yes, the coward Dark Force Press who blocked me is responding to me and others in replies to my post. Yes, very brave, very, very, very brave of you, Dark Force Press, to reply to my post and reply to those replying to my post when you have me blocked and you know I can't see what you're saying and therefore can't respond. This is a common Wokehammer tactic, and the sad thing is they genuinely think this makes them look good. They genuinely think this makes them look good, and it's hilarious. So yeah, he was trying to respond to people and was getting smacked down by the people in my replies. Good on Space Shark 23, by the way. Hard claps to you, my friend Carcharodon Astronovus. Well done, well done. Although, I can't praise you too much. It's very easy to smack these people down. So yes, that's kind of the Twitter roundup, wind-up. That's the news. Wokehammer are malding. They are malding hard. Let's end off on a beautiful image here. They are malding extremely hard. They're feeling their side losing. They're feeling the coming tide. They're trying to flail. They're trying to flail. But we can't leave up the pressure, folks. We can't leave up. No matter how much they whine and scream like little infants, gotta press the boot down. So, keep it up, my fellow Chudhammer and the Legion of Unpopular Opinions. Keep it up, my boys and my lasses over there. Because yes, believe it or not, we have quite a few women on our side. So, catch you later, and hobby on.